Okay, I'm going to go. I'll be back in a bit. Chuck, and it's Wednesday, July 30th, 2025, about 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'm on my way over to the cardiologist to get my results from my 2 tests that I got Monday and Tuesday. So let me show you around here a little bit. You along on the drive over here. School started this week, so it's a little busier around here than it has been all summer. There's a little bit of dust in the air this morning. It's not quite as clear as it usually is. Of course, the sun's coming up, so you got that reflection off of the tar on the road. Certainly not the optimum. Recording this direction in the morning. Over there where Filiberto's is across the way there used to actually be an auto repair place there, and it was the second job I had when I first moved here. There, we'll get away from that sun. Early enough, there's not a lot of traffic on a Wednesday morning. Dutch Brothers Coffee is always busy. Cardiologist office is over here by the hospital. Doing a bunch of repaving work over here at the hospital, and so they, as you see, they got the whole place tore up down there. We're not going there, we're going over here. They even left me a parking place right out here in front. Very nice of them. Shut this thing off. Set the brake. Roll up my window. And we'll go see what the doctor's going to tell me. Well, it's a little bit later, and as you can see, I'm over here at the park and sitting in the shady spot and sharing the shade with some of our locals. We got a bunch of those Canadian geese that live here all year. They don't migrate like a lot of the other ones do. I guess that's what happens when you live the good life. You don't have to migrate. But I figured I'd bring you up to date on my little adventure with the cardiologist, and it's kind of a good news, bad news thing. And so let me just get with it. The good news part was that my nuclear stress test that I had on Monday, it came back just fine. There's no blood flow issues in any of my heart arteries, and everything just came out just great. And they actually commended me on looking pretty good for somebody my age. Well, then yesterday, of course, I had the ultrasound done. And the reason why they do the ultrasound on me is because I have a aortic aneurysm. And so they monitor that. And if you're not familiar with what an aneurysm is, it's let me see if I can explain it to you kind of simply here. You have the main artery that comes out of your heart. It comes out of your heart right here on the left side. It kind of makes an arch called it's called the aorta. It has what they call the aortic arch. And then it goes down through the middle of your abdomen and splits in two into your femoral arteries that go down each leg. Well, this section right in here that goes through your abdomen, that's your abdominal aorta. And what happens there occasionally is it develops a weak spot. And when it develops a weak spot, it bulges. And that bulge is called an aneurysm. And the best way, I guess, to compare it is at some point in time, most all of us have tried buying some cheap plastic garden hose somewhere, and we left it sit in the sun with the water turned on and under pressure, and it developed a big old bulge, a big old bubble. And if we didn't catch it in time, that bubble would split. Well, that bubble on that garden hose is an aneurysm. And your aorta can do the same thing. Well, two things can happen if you have an aneurysm. And one thing is it can develop like a pinhole leak, start leaking. And that's called a dissecting aortic aneurysm. And those are pretty significant. And but usually they cause a lot of pain, and the pain a lot of times manifests itself as a real severe back pain, the worst back pain you ever had in your life. And what happens on those is they require immediate surgical intervention, and that normally can't be done here. Well, then the issue with that is that that weak spot, if it's just leaking, one thing you don't want it to do is you don't want it to blow. Okay, you don't want it to rupture. If it ruptures completely, and that's the other kind, that's called a ruptured aortic aneurysm, and those are almost 100% fatal, as you bleed out so fast that even if it happens in the middle of the emergency room, there's a good chance they're not going to save you. So if you have a dissecting aneurysm, that's only one pop away from being a ruptured aneurysm, and they're real susceptible to changes in elevation. So what that means is when somebody has a dissecting aortic aneurysm and they can't fix it at the hospital here, they have to transfer them, and they can't do it by air. So that means about hour-and-a-half ambulance ride. And ambulances aren't the smoothest riding things in the world, and the roads aren't the smoothest in the world. And so what that generally means is a slow ambulance ride with everybody crossing their fingers and holding their breath to make sure they don't hit a bump wrong and transfer your dissecting aortic aneurysm into a ruptured one. That's obviously not a good thing. So the good side of mine is that they've caught it early. And so what my cardiologist did is he's going to refer me to a specialty, another cardiologist who specializes in this sort of thing. And they come up here a couple days a week, so I don't have to go to the big city to see them. And he says what they'll probably do is they will order up a CT scan with contrast so they can get a better picture of how big it is, and they'll decide. Now the treatment protocols, there's 3 treatment protocols for that. And number 1 is just to watch it for a while, and we've been doing that now for about 4 or 5 years. And they might decide that they can do it for a little bit longer. That's number 1. And all that does is put off the inevitable. Number 2, quite often, is they'll give you some medication to lower your blood pressure if you have a high blood pressure to start with. I don't have high blood pressure, so that's not, I don't believe that's an option for me, or a course of treatment. Well, and the third thing is surgery. And once again, there's 2 types of surgery. One surgery is they can go internally, that they can go up through your groin in the side of the artery, and they can reinforce that little section with a stretch of a little plastic tube affair, and so that it strengthens that. Then the more extreme one is where they actually open you up and they have to go in there and cut that and replace part of it with a section of plastic tube called a graft. And obviously that's a major surgery and has its own bunch of risks. So that's what I'm facing. I'm being referred to a specialist. It is what it is. Like I say, the good thing is it's caught real early, and we'll see where they want to go from there. But that's what I found out today, and it wasn't what I wanted to hear, but that is what ended up. So while I'm over here at the park, give you another little shot of my little friends the birds here. We're going to go over there and take a look at the statue of old Marty over there, and we're going to see if he's dried up enough to where I can remove those barricades. The Parks Department guys loaned me the barricades just because that stuff takes 2 or 3 days to dry. I think it's been hot enough. I think it's probably okay. But we're going to walk over there and we're going to check it. And then if it's dry enough, then we're going to go ahead and remove the barricades. So let me get the camera all repositioned and I'll come back with you. Well, let's go check and see if this stuff's dry on old Marty and see if we can get rid of these barricades. Well, I think he's okay. The parks guys told me just to leave those barricades over there and they'd come pick him up. So appreciate the help they gave me on that. I think this whole project, giving old Marty there a coat of Penetrol, it made him look a lot better, and I think he'll be good for a while. So I think I'm going to wrap this one up right here and tell you, as I always do, take care of each other, love each other, show gratitude for what you got. I have a lot of gratitude for the life I lead and the fact that I'm able to come over here to this absolutely gorgeous park and be a part of all this. And old Marty here, he's standing proud. So until I talk to you again, let me just tell you, peace out.